I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver inside.
What is up, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of Dr. Yawgmoth's Clinic. My name is Brandon Osborne, aka Control for Days. What we do here is we walk you through different matchups using the deck Yawgmoth in Modern. I'm going to show you how to be successful with the deck, how to win your matchups, how to navigate the details, the intricacies of the matchup so you can be successful if you do choose to play the deck, or maybe even if you're playing against it. Minor details today. If you took a look at the deck list in the introduction to today's video, we changed things up a little bit. I pulled the Thoughtseize and I added a Patra to the sideboard. This is my first time testing the card and I'm eager to see what it can do. And outside of that, everything else is pretty stock from what I've been running. Our 7-card hand against an unknown opponent. We are on the draw. It's nothing special, but it's a keep, so we're going to go with it. Lands and spells. What more could you ask for, right? Maybe a grist, I don't know. Opponent leads on Verdant Catacombs. Could be a mirror match. Fetching basic swamp, likely not. Verdant Catacombs, basic swamp, Thoughtseize. Some sort of Jund deck, maybe? Hard to say. Alright, just because I don't know what I'm playing with against, I'm going to hold the Boseiju for the time being. I'm going to shock myself, go down to 18 and play out Hierarch and pass the turn. Evolution, not a bad draw. If it's, okay, it looks like Jund. Good old Boomer Jund. Haven't seen this in a while. So that's actually not a bad draw either. If we can keep the evolution next turn, we'll be in decent shape. We'll be able to find ourselves Yawgmoth and we'll be able to generate a significant amount of card advantage. So hopefully we have the opportunity to do that. And another ignoble actually wasn't that bad. Pressures their life total and gives us the opportunity to have extra creatures to sacrifice Yawgmoth. Sacrifice to Yawgmoth if we do in fact get it out next turn. So they're up to 3. Liliana is pretty bad here if that's what they're playing or thinking about playing. They could have a Tarmogoyf, which really isn't that scary either. I'm a seasoned Pyromancer, that's fine. Probably not the best thing for them. You know, with Lurrus being in the format, this deck was not one that you would see often, so in terms of the details and intricacies to the matchup, I don't have a ton of insight right off the bat. I've definitely played against it before, but like I said, it wasn't the most common matchup over the course of the last 6 months or so. Alright, so we got ourselves a Yawgmoth now, and I think our opponent is in a bit of trouble. Okay, so we're going to lead with an attack. I imagine they block with the token. And we'll start generating some card. Maybe we start drawing cards right off the bat here. Not great. My hope is that we don't draw the Dryad Arbor. I just do? Did I just mess something up? I just messed something up. I feel like I should have an extra card in my hand. Alright, so we're gonna fetch here, get a Dryad Arbor, we're gonna Chord, get a Yawgmoth, we'll untap our Geist, and we will attack in a moment. Alright, so the amount of card advantage we generated just now is pretty significant. Unfortunately, we didn't really draw too much in terms of actual cards that do things, but we have an engine at this point, so we can probably we can just go crazy from here. So we shall see what they do. If they have a piece of removal for the Yawgmoth, they're going to have to use it. And they have 3 card types. That's fine. We'll just untap here. Another land. Drawing a lot of lands here. They can't activate the Ravine, so we're just going to swing with the team, I think, and then go from there. Try to get something else out into play here. And they have something like a Kolaghan's Command that's really not that big a deal. We can deal with that. See what they're doing. Okay, yeah, not a big deal. That should just be game right there. So our draw fizzles. We'll play out an Urborg. 1, 2, 3. Messenger will drain them, and now they are dead. So we'll just cycle the Messenger a couple of times through with our other Undying creatures, draining them for 2 life every 2 cycles. And because they're at a lower life total, they are dead from there. So it was pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Nothing too crazy. Post board, we definitely want to attack their graveyard. So Endurance is a definite addition. And then from there, I feel like Baloth is worthwhile. If they play something that targets our graveyard, Hapatra lets us kind of go off without needing our graveyard, so maybe we'll add that in as well. In terms of what we pull out, I don't like Eldritch Evolutions against decks that target our discard our hand pretty aggressively, because they can kind of pick and choose the cards they want, and it winds up just becoming a dead card. Besides that, I think we're going to shave on birds. I think, no, maybe not a Geist. Maybe a Chord as well. We'll do that. We'll see how this pans out. I don't know about Hapatra in this matchup, but it's a card I just want to get some reps in with it and see how it feels and see how it performs. So, you know, they have creatures, and Hapatra will generate a pretty significant amount of card advantage if we can get it on the board with a Yawgmoth. So I just want to see if it pans out. Sand is fine, nothing too crazy. Once again, we don't really want to mulligan against a deck that's going to be discarding our hand so aggressively. Wall of Roots is probably the most important card in this hand. We'll see what they take here. There goes our Wall of Roots. Okay, so we kind of anticipated Ley Line. I didn't bring in any enchantment removal, but we do have two Boseiju in the deck, so that's our out to that card. It cuts off our ability to combo, but to be honest, I don't think it's that necessary for us to be able to win. I'm going to lead on Blood Artist, which literally does nothing, given the fact, well, it does nothing for us, given the fact that all of our creatures will be exiled. But if their creatures die, it will do something. Third Court of Calling is not very good. That's all of them because we boarded one out. And I'm happy with them using one of their bolts there. Clothis? I think that targets both graveyards, right? Target card from a graveyard. Okay. So Scavenging Ooze lines up pretty well against that card. We're going to hold the Ooze for now, I think. And we'll just get a Geist into play and start dealing some damage. It's fine. Seems like they're a little light on threats here, as are we. Alright, swing. Swing, and we'll play out our Ooze and then pass the turn. Okay, that's fine. Stuck on lands here. Also fine. Sure. Not a big deal. Play out a Yawgmoth and pass the turn. Could really use a third land right now. Best two draws would probably be a third land and then an Endurance. Those would probably be our best two. That's fine. There's our land. So that can also get us a Dryad Arbor. And then we can Yawgmoth the following turn. Not a very scary Tarmogoyf. I think we get rid of a Court of Calling here. Get our Dryad Arbor. And between this and Yawgmoth, we'll be able to start generating some advantage, which will be good. Some card advantage. So they can't actually drain us anymore, so Clothis is kind of worn out his welcome a little bit. so that is unfortunate. They're going to minus Liliana now, which I guess is fine. Fetch here, get ourselves an Overgrown Tomb to get our mana near perfect. Hierarch doesn't really do anything. It's going to get discarded, so it's fine. You know, we're losing this game, but you know, I feel like we had some pretty bad draws off the top of our deck, so not too big a deal. Alright, so that's a really good draw. We'll attack the Liliana. Okay. So we're going to take a little bit of damage here, but that's okay. I feel like if we draw something decent off the top of the deck, we'll be in good shape. Ashiok. It's more of the same to what they've been doing, so not that big a deal. Sure, start milling me. That's funny. Oh, milling themselves. Okay. I didn't realize. I thought it exiled graveyards. Oh, each opponent's graveyard. Okay. Sure. So what we're going to do here is we're going to sacrifice the Geist. And we're going to proliferate. Took one. Okay, we'll attack the Ashiok. Alright, we're in trouble here. I mean, I think Lothus is probably going to get the best of us. Unless we can find an Endurance. And that is not an Endurance. Okay, we'll scoop. Move on to a game 3. So they have a ton of graveyard hate. I'll bring in the Liberator just as a consideration to that. I think I'll keep in the Hepatra. And then in terms of something to cut, you know, we didn't see any Ragavans, so I'm going to cut a Yawgmoth here. You know, the fact that they have so much graveyard hate, it really diminishes the value of the card, and you know, the main reason I would keep 4 of them in is as a consideration to deal with Ragavan. So the fact that we haven't seen any in 2 games, I don't think it's really worthwhile to keep it in. Keep all 4 in. So we are on the play this game. Alright, they have a ley line to start with. Okay, we'll leave with our Overgrown Tomb and pass the turn. Alright, they're leading with an Inquisition, which hits our Wall of Roots or our Endurance. Once again, it's probably the right call to hit the Wall of Roots here, which they took. Drew Yawgmoth, play that out. So So they have perfect information right now. This is a little bit of deja vu from last game. We got stalled on 2 mana. Hopefully that does not happen again. And as an attempt to prevent that, I'm not going to fetch here. Alright, we got our 3rd mana. We will lead with an attack here. Bailoff is really strong. It cuts them off of Liliana, cuts them off of Kolaghan's command. So it is a very good card for us to have right now. And the fact that Leyline exiles things has no impact on the Bailoff. Its effect will still take place if it is discarded. Lightning Bolt, sure. Bolt away. They're down to 4 cards in hand. Just close this again. Just fine. We're going to shuffle their graveyard EOT here. I'm going to preserve my life total a little bit and just get basics. Basic forest. And a basic swamp. Hierarch is fine. Nothing special, but let's just get a little extra chip damage in. So I will take it and we'll facilitate our ability to cast Yawgmoth next turn, which is great. So once I have the ability to cast the Bailoff, I honestly don't even know if I'm going to. I might just continue to hold it. Just because it deads so many of their cards. When does this thing actually work? Beginning of your pre-combat main phase. Alright, so we're lagging a little bit again. They're casting a Hidetsugu Consumes All, which is the new card out of Kamigawa, which I think is seeing play in other formats. Each non-land permanent mana value 1 or less. Okay, so Hierarch's gonna bite the dust here. That was not good from a... We wanted a land, but that was not the one we wanted. Their list is interesting. I don't know if what they're doing is actually a thing right now. I don't know if this is like their own variation or if people are playing these sorts of lists again. But it's interesting. So if they stack their triggers correctly, they should be able to eat the Bloodstained Mire and get themselves an extra mana. I don't know if it's going to matter, but we shall see. I think they have perfect information about our hand here. They do. So they know what they're up against. What is this? This turns into a 3/3. Drawing a card. And passing the turn. So we'll have a Yawgmoth in play this turn. Scavenging Ooze is fine. Nothing too crazy. Alright, and Yawgmoth is in play here. So, not as powerful without an Undying creature, but still still fine. And they're bolting us to the face. Interesting. So 3/3 trample. That does stuff. Inquisition, they'll get our Scavenging Ooze. Okay. We're going to attack with both of our creatures here. Okay, so that guy's going to die. Oh, I misread that. No, he's not. He might still die. We'll see. We shall see. Yeah. We will kill him. Okay. From here, we will just pass the turn again. So they are on a 2-turn clock at this point with 1 card in hand. I think we're pretty far ahead. Okay, so they're feeding their Clothis here. They drew 2 cards. Played a Raging Ravine and are passing the turn. Endurance is a solid draw. I think we're going to attack here. Okay, this is really good for us. So Endurance was a really good draw. We're going to Endurance their graveyard now, which cuts them off of Pyromancer and cuts them off of Clothis. So I think they're in a little bit of trouble here. Unless they have something in their hand that can put a card into their graveyard, they're not going to be able to activate the Clothis or utilize the Clothis's ability. Bloodbraid, let's see what they get. Another Hitagatsu, which doesn't really do too much. And now they have a 3/2 blocker, and we're coming across with 7, 8 damage. We'll swing with the team. Or do we just leave Yawgmoth back? They have to block here. I think we put them down to 1. And I think we're actually going to play out the Baloth at this point. Let's try to pad our life total a little bit. The turn. If they have something like Damnation, we're probably in trouble, but otherwise I think we should be good. It's been so long since I played against this deck, it's kind of weird playing against it. Another Seasoned Pyromancer, pretty good. Pretty good card right now. See if they drew into anything. They're at 3 life, so pretty much all of our threats are lethal, with the exception of the Yawgmoth. But they need to get another blocker down, otherwise they're dead. Alright, and that does it. Boomer Jund is back. Lurrus Jund is no more. my experience has been that this is a favorable matchup for this deck in the limited number of games that I played against it. We had a couple of stragglers that were still playing it in the midst of Lurrus being a thing, but I think it's just too slow and too fair to deal with the unfair things that we're doing with our deck. So I think we're favored. I'm glad I got these reps in because it gives me a little bit more insight into what to expect out of this deck in the near future. So that will do it for today's video. If you've enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, hit the subscribe button if you have not done so already. I'm going to try to drop another video tomorrow and hopefully another video the day after that. We've got some exciting things coming down the pipeline, different types of content that I hope you guys are going to enjoy as well. So if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time for our next clinic with Dr. Yawgmoth. Until then.